I switched from this Fitbit to this one and from this to this one. And I ultimately landed on this. But why? I never thought I'd break up with my trusty Fitbit after 5 loyal years. But testing these Fitbits to their Garmin counterparts for 4 months has me wondering why I didn't leave sooner. My friends thought I was crazy switching, but there's this one feature that completely changed how I train. And nobody's talking about it. By the end, you'll know exactly what I mean and you'll drop your Fitbit too. So let's say you just want a sports tracker you can wear all day without noticing too much it's there. You'd want it to track things all day, right? Like steps, challenge you to reach your goals and a long battery life. This is where the Vivo Smart 5 from Garmin and the Charge 6 from Fitbit come in. They're both aimed at someone who wants to measure data throughout the day but doesn't necessarily want smartwatch features. First, the design. The Garmin Vivo Smart 5 is subtle and lightweight and feels like it was made so you can forget you're even wearing it. It's all functions and no fuss. The Fitbit Charge 6 is a bit bulkier but undeniably more polished, with an aluminum case that screams premium. If looks matter to you, Fitbit wins. One of the most marketed Fitbit features is the Daily Readiness score, which shows you how ready your body is for exercise based on fitness fatigue, heart rate variability and sleep quality. Now imagine that you wake up well rested and ready for a workout according to your daily readiness score, but you're having a brutal day at work and your energy levels are quite low once you finish work. Wouldn't you like to know? Except that the daily readiness score doesn't do that. It just stays the same throughout the day. The Garmin Body Battery feature is an advanced daily readiness score that gives you these insights into your energy levels throughout the day to help you plan your workouts and rest. So a point for Garmin here. The Fitbit Charge 6 has GPS, which is a big plus over the Garmin Vivo Smart. If you like to wear tight pants or track pants with loose pockets while running, carrying a smartphone with you if you want to track your route can be a hassle. But using the built-in GPS makes the already inferior battery life of the Charge 6 even worse, going from 5 days to even lower than that, while the Vivo Smart lasts a whole week. It is a nice small watch though, and it has a color display which looks a bit more modern than the Vivo Smart. It also has NFC and Fitbit Pay, so you can make contactless payments right from your wrist. Garmin just took a different route and, well, made a sports tracker that's good at the actual thing you want to use it for, and that's sports tracking. The Garmin Vivo Smart 5 keeps it purposefully simple, focusing more on fitness and health than acting as a smartwatch. It's a little lighter, I like the feel of the band better, which doesn't slip, and the sports tracking data is just amazing. Where Fitbit can overshoot quite a lot with tracking steps, the Garmin might undercount just a tiny bit. But if I'm setting my health goals based off of that, I definitely want to be on the safe side there. Fitbit tracks just about any movement as a step. The sleep tracking used to be better on the Fitbit, but it's also better on the Garmin now. For example, I know for a fact that because I ate a bit too much greasy Chinese food last night, I slept very poorly. Waking up, tossing and turning, Garmin rated my sleep poor while Fitbit thought it was great. Also, I went to bed but watched a little Netflix. Fitbit counts as asleep, but Garmin knows the difference. But the real deal breaker here is Fitbit app's paywall. Fitbit removed all challenge features under the Google banner, while Garmin seems to be incorporating more and more useful features into their Connect app. Now let's see what's out there if you want to get into more smartwatch-like features from these sports brands. So let's look at these two for a moment. It's the Garmin Vivo Active 5 versus the Fitbit Versa 4. You see the same things apply here. The battery on the Vivo Active 5 is better with 11 days as opposed to 6. Sleep, steps and heart rate are all better tracked on the Garmin watch than its Fitbit counterpart. The Versa 4 is a fitness watch that combines style and functionality at a competitive price. It could be a good choice if you just want to track some basic fitness and health metrics and still get some smart features. I think Fitbit's workout reminder is much better than Garmin's. With Fitbit you can set up when you want reminders, how many steps you need to take for it to count, and then set some rest days. Garmin just sends reminders once per hour after your last activity. So if your last activity was at 11:30 to 11:40 a.m., you now get a reminder at 12:40 p.m. And you can't set the amount of steps required. A definite point to Fitbit. But the Vivo Active 5 has the more advanced sports tracking of the two, so it's a better choice if you want to track more than just, well, basic metrics, or you have an intricate sport that you really want to track. For example, you get charts of your average speed and heart rate when playing paddle, and things like total reps and sets when doing weight training as well. But what I really liked about the Vivo Active 5 isn't even in the tracking or the software. Let's say you're out and about and doing some running and laps. It can get quite fidgety trying to push the right place on your touchscreen. I've accidentally ended a workout session multiple times on the Versa 4 doing it like this. Then comes in the extra physical button on the Vivo Active 5. This makes starting and stopping training for things like laps so much easier. But it also works for sets with weights and tries on boulders. But wait, the Versa 4's button is programmable though when you long press it, and you can select a workout there. So it did redeem itself a bit, although the long press is still a bit fidgety. Both have the same type of sensors, a 3-axis accelerometer, 3-axis gyroscope, optical heart rate monitor, ambient light sensor, relative SpO2 sensor and temperature sensor. The Vivo Active also has a compass and gyroscope for better navigation during outdoor sports. But it lacks the altimeter of the Fitbit, which is used to measure stair count, so that's a bit of a disappointment and definitely a point for the Fitbit. There are a lot more sports on the Garmin though, and you can get so much more sport-specific data for each sport than the generic data on the Fitbit. Here I have the data for strength training, for example, compared to that on the Fitbit. And here the data for paddle. That's equally impressive. I also like the fact that the Vivo Active has automatic lap detection based on GPS. So if you come back to the same spot, it automatically gives you a lap so you can track that. Here both watches have GPS and NFC for contactless payments. So Garmin has reserved these features for their true smartwatch trackers, instead of also integrating this into the pure sports trackers to keep the costs down and focus more on what matters most. The build of the Garmin Vivo Active 5 also shows its sports first mentality with a fiber reinforced polymer body and Gorilla Glass 3 screen with stainless steel bezel, whereas the Fitbit has an aluminum watch case. Even so, Garmin has still managed to keep it lighter and less cumbersome. Another way you can see Garmin really focuses on the athlete more is their integration of Ant Plus in both of these devices, where Fitbit has none. Ant Plus becomes more important if you want to connect it to multiple devices or hosts at the same time, like connecting with your phone and an exterior heart rate monitor, or more importantly, you and your coach or trainer receiving the same data at the same time. The feature I really like on the Garmin Vivo Active 5 is your fitness age. This feature uses your real age combined with your activity, resting heart rate and BMI to estimate if your body lives up to your age. And you can get tips to lower your fitness age to be even healthier. I managed to get mine down 3 years since I started doing more vigorous activities daily. And now let's look at the apps and ecosystem. I used to be good friends with the Fitbit app. It was simple and intuitive and did what it needed. Track workouts, provide useful insights and throw in some fun challenges to keep things competitive. But then Google stepped in and decided, you know what this needs? More white space and fewer features. Garmin's has a lot more data and I like the appearance, but sometimes it's hard to find some data. It has a much steeper learning curve, but once you figure it out, you'll probably like it too. It's just so frustrating how Google bought Fitbit, which was the sports tracking brand others aspired to becoming, and just completely ruined it. I mean, all the cool things are gone now that made Fitbit what it was, like challenges and communities. Then there's connectivity, which is where Garmin flexes. I've had notifications from third-party apps pop up on my Garmin devices, things Fitbit just ignores, while Garmin's is getting stronger. And if you're someone who likes to switch between devices, say a simple tracker for running and then something like the Pixel Watch 2 for more advanced features, then Fitbit simply won't let you do it. You can only connect one device at a time. Do you want to swap? You have to remove the first one completely. And then there's Garmin. It lets you connect multiple devices at once. You could have a rugged outdoor watch for workouts and a sleeker one for everyday wear, all seamlessly syncing to the same app. Fitbit? Not happening. Google's strategy for Fitbit is also transparent. They probably removed third-party apps from Fitbit just to push the Google Pixel series as their flagship. The Charge 6 got a slightly better launch, bringing back Google apps and improving health tracking accuracy, but the damage was already done. Fitbit used to be about fitness first, and now it's just Google's side project. Even simple features like breathing exercises feel more polished on Garmin. The community aspect, that's another area where Garmin wins. Fitbit used to have great challenges, but the best ones are now locked behind the paywall. Meanwhile, Garmin has free challenges for step goals and strength training and badges for small achievements. Walked a little more than usual? Badge. Slept well? Badge. Beat yesterday's workout? Yes, a badge. It makes fitness feel like a game, which helps with motivation. And if you're serious about tracking your full health picture, Garmin integrates with smart skills, pulling in weight data to help calculate things like fitness age. And Fitbit, well, it's technically possible, but way clunkier. Garmin's ecosystem works better if you want a complete health and fitness tracking experience. This added weight data helps a lot with things like your fitness age. At this point, my Fitbit devices feel like fancy step counters, while Garmin is my actual fitness tracker. Fitbit has potential, but Google clipped its wings to push the Pixel Watch. So is Google's flagship, the Pixel Watch, any better? Well, if I just wanted it for step and sleep tracking, I'd pick Pixie. It is a very cool and sleek design, and it has a lot of smart features. But these Garmins have way better battery life. They're more durable, you don't have to pay for stuff behind a paywall, you can set notifications to sleep while you're working out, and the overall stats and metrics are just way better. The Pixel is more stylish, has more apps like Google Assistant and Audible, and you have the ability to take a quick call using only your watch. If you just want to use it for shorter workouts or hikes, the Pixie 2 is a good bet. You do need to charge it once a day, but it integrates well with the Pixel phone, of course. I kind of like it, and here all of the third-party apps are supported. But if you want something for more as a fitness tracker or for longer workouts or excursions, then almost any Garmin is better any day of the week. So while I like the watch as a smartwatch, well, it's great actually. It's a totally different use case than the sports tracking watches that I like to use and like to use every day in my everyday life from Garmin. So I'm going to uninstall the Fitbit app from my phone right now, and I'm just going to keep the Garmin Connect from now on. Then on to the next adventure with my Garmin Instinct 2X Solar. Now watch this video where I test it out against 6 other smartwatch brands, including Fitbit. Spoiler alert, it was real fun.